Button Boys. St. Thomas Aquinas School for Boys was a small boarding school outside New Orleans that ran from the mid-19th century to the late 1950s, when it finally closed down in a period of reorganization by the local bishop. With fewer and fewer parents willing to send their boys away to boarding school as early as the 7th grade, St. Thomas lost too much of its enrollment in the lower 3 grades to continue. In its heyday, the school had only about 250 boys, most from well-to-do southern homes. The school was organized into 2 separate campuses divided by a private road. The lower school was located on one side of the road and the upper school on the other. All the teachers, dorm floor mistresses, and house mistresses were nuns, as was the school nurse. While the school accepted a small number of day students from the area, most students were boarders who lived in 2-story dormitories, each with a central staircase flanked by wings of alcoves on both levels. Unlike separate rooms with doors, alcoves had curtains, making it easier for the floor mistress to carry out surprise inspections after lights and at all times of the day. The upper school has 3 dorms, the lower school 2. With 10 alcoves to a corridor, each dorm housed 80 boys. Each corridor of alcoves has an apartment at one end where the floor mistress lived, 4 to a dorm. The floor mistresses, in turn, reported to the house mother, usually an older nun who lived in a more extensive lodging attached to one end of the dormitory. The school also included a good-sized gym, a library, 2 classroom buildings, each with a large study hall, and an infirmary with a full-time, live-in nurse. The normal method of discipline in the middle school was corporal punishment. These ranged from simple hand spankings and slipperings to more extended paddlings. For the larger boys in the upper school, work details around the campus were assigned for any misbehavior. In this way, the school saved considerable money on upkeep while instilling good work habits. For some parents, work details were not good enough and they made special arrangements with the headmistress for the school to continue using the same methods of discipline used in the lower school. While most parents were happy to have their boys switched over to work details at age 16, about 1/5 of the boys were still subject to spanking through the 10th grade, and a handful even after that. The worst part about being spanked in the upper school was the humiliation that came from having your peers know all about it and being teased by them.